What's going on, people? This is your boy, Mandel Anthony, with A.L.N.S. Always a lion, never a sheep. Now, I've been trying to get this guy in our studio for quite some time, man, but when you're a multi-talented guy, it's hard to get a hold of him, but we finally got him in. You know, this guy's an actor, singer, producer, with his own production company. I want to introduce to you all a special friend of mine, Mr. CHICO BENYMON.
What up,
What's going on, Chico?
man? The grind don't stop.
Well, I will say, I mean, it's good to have you in here, man. I've been trying, like I said, I've been trying to get you in here for a minute, but I want everybody to know everything you're doing, from the new TV show you're doing, you know, about Half and Half, how you got on Half and Half, Hunter Hathaway that you was on, all the in betweens that you had in between those. I mean, we want to hear about everything that's going on with you, man.
I mean, it's I'm from New York. Came to L.A. on singing. I was signed to Will Smith. I was signed to Overbrook and Interscope, and that kind of was like my bridge to Hollywood. The music wasn't really doing well, and the industry started, like, record labels just started down, just coming down, and I was like, yo, man, I need a plan B. I was like, I ain't ready to go back to New York. And he was like, what you want to do? I was like, I don't know, man. He said, well, look, check it out.
Will.
This is Will.
Okay.
So Will is like, listen, man. He was like, I'm shooting this movie called Enemy to State. He was like, you can come on set, get your mind straight, because I was stressed because I had just had a son. So I was like, yo, man, I'm just not trying to go back to New York working. So I started watching him on television, and I'm like, yeah, this is what I want to do.
Okay.
I'm seeing him jumping through windows, climbing balconies. I was like, yo, it's one thing to see it on TV, but to be right in your face, it was a whole different experience. So I got bit by the bug.
Okay.
So I told him, I said, yo, I want to be an actor. And he was like, Joker, this don't happen like that.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll be on TV in a year.
Okay.
He was laughing at me. He was like, whatever, man. He said, it don't work like that, Cheek. I was like, well, I'm going to be on TV in a year. I'm supposed to do this.
Okay.
So he was like, all right, whatever, Joker. I went home, and we was getting like an allowance, monthly allowance from him, like $1,500 a month.
Because you were signed to his label.
Because we were signed to the label. So, we sang at his wedding, and Will was like, listen, as long as y'all stay loyal, dedicated, work hard, y'all ain't got to worry about anything ever in y'all life. So he kind of was still, his word was bond, so he kind of was giving us like allowances.
Yeah.
But I wasn't settled with that. I was like, I didn't come to Hollywood to get an allowance. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And then being around him and seeing how he was living, I was like, yo, I need this, right? So I go back home and I bowl, right? So
You said bowl?
bowling.
Okay.
Right? So I gamble bowling.
Okay.
Back in New York. So a lot of my family members, we all bowl. So I went to the bowling alley and I was like, yo, I had like $200 to my name.
Okay.
I was like, $100 a strike, who with it?
Hold on. You walked in with $200.
$200.
And you were betting $100 a strike?
I said, I bet anybody 100 a strike. That's how bad I want. I mean, I could have blew it in two throws, right? But it just felt right.
Okay.
So it just so happened my cousins were there. So they was like, let's go. I'll take that bet. God was with me that night. I hit 13 strikes that night. Straight.
Was that your best bowling ever?
I don't know what it was, but it felt like if I would have threw a gut, I would have died. I just wanted to win.
Okay.
And I made $1,300.
Okay.
Well, I made
26.
15 I ended up with because I bowled 13.
Okay.
And I got a plane ticket to come back to L.A.
Okay.
But
so you
this
used
time,
that money to get your plane
to
ticket
come back.
Okay.
But I didn't tell nobody. I didn't tell Will. I didn't say nothing. I just got a ticket and was like, I'm a find myself somewhere.
Okay.
But I had friends out here. I made friends out here while I was out here recording. So I hit up Charlie Mack. I was like, yo, C. Mitty, I need to use your floor.
Okay.
He was like, He was like, yo, Chico, come on. It is what it is. Come on, baby. Because he discovered me.
Okay.
When I was in the group. He discovered the group. So
so Will didn't actually discover the group. Charlie Mack discovered the group and brought y'all to Will.
And brought us to Will. So, long story short, I got there. I stayed on the floor. He had just had like a little baby there, and I was just like, whatever. And when the next day, I just started hitting the streets in North Hollywood. I just started walking around, like asking people, like, yo, where you go for auditions? Where you go? I was that dude, right?
You were doing it raw.
So I'm used to walking in New York because, Manhattan, blocks are like 10 feet away.
Exactly.
Cali blocks are damn near half a mile. So it's like that walk stopped after a while. So a friend of mine was going to an audition, and he was like, yo, you want to see how the auditions go? He was like, you can roll with me. I was like, bet, let's go. I'm with that.
Okay.
I go to audition. He's like, yo, help me go over my lines. And I'm like helping him go over his lines and shit.
But you have never done it before that?
I've never done it.
Okay.
So, but I've watched comedy, sitcoms. So I grew up knowing timing.
Okay.
Just based off, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, ba-dum-bum-bum. You know what I mean? Okay. I just knew the timing, right? Okay. So me helping him, it was easy.
Okay.
Right? So we did it so much, I started memorizing it. So I knew his lines and my lines. Okay. So we got out there. So he goes in. He's like, yo, just sit in here. Don't do nothing. So at the time, they used to have Polaroids for people that didn't have 8x10s.
Exactly.
So when I walked into the audition, there was a girl taking pictures. And she was just like, next. And people was going up. I was just sitting there quiet. I was just trying to be, follow the rules.
Okay.
And then she looks at me. She goes, next. And I was like,
slid your way in, huh?
I said, me? She was like, you here for the audition, right? And I was like, yeah, my bad. I was zoning out. I was trying to learn my lines, right? So I go up in there, and she takes my picture, and she said, did you fill out the sheet? And I was like, no. So I go up there. I literally wrote everything my boy wrote, but I just put my cell phone number.
Okay.
Right? So they come out. They go, Chico? I'm like, that's me. I was like, what's the word? My boy looked at me like, what are you doing? I was like, what's the worst can happen? They can kick me out.
Yeah.
Right? I have nothing to lose, right? He was like, yo, you crazy. I went in there, killed it. Now, mind you, I don't know nothing about acting, right? So they was like, wow, that was really good. Are you SAG? I was like, nah, I'm Puerto Rican and black. I didn't know what SAG meant, right? Yeah. So everybody started laughing, and I was like, and then the girl that let me in looked at me like, what the? She was like, just don't talk no more. She just looked at me like, and then I could tell like I said something wrong. So I was like, oh, nah, I was just kidding. I was like, I'm SAG. And they was like, yo, that was very funny. They was like, wait outside. Okay. So I go outside, and I'm like, what the hell just happened? And she was like, you ain't supposed to be here, are you? I was like, why? She was like, you just said you was Puerto Rican black and SAG is a union. I was like, oh, shoot. I said, I messed up. I said, my bad. Listen. She was like, no, you didn't mess up. You just booked it.
Oh, wow.
But you're not SAG.
Yeah.
You have a week to become SAG. And in California, in Hollywood, I had a week. Because they had a bye week.
Okay.
They had like a hiatus week. For the show. So
now this was for half and half?
No.
Okay.
It's for Moesha.
Okay.
So then I go, I said, well, how do I get it? They was like, you gotta get these vouchers and it's impossible. You need 3.
Exactly.
Right? Me, I just felt like ain't nothing impossible, even though it was impossible. Okay. So the girl was like, yo, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you really got 2 weeks. I really had 2 weeks because they were getting ready to go on hiatus. Okay. Then I had that week to come back in.
Okay.
So I called Will. I was like, yo, I'm in L.A. I just booked this show. And Will's like yelling because Overbrook used to be on the Universal lot. So he was like, yo, who flew Chico out here? I said, nah, man, I flew myself out. Listen, I'm up for this audition. I just did this audition. I booked it, but they asking me about the SAG. Like, I need to get the SAG. And he was like, the what? I said, the SAG. He said, why you calling it that? I said, ain't
That's
it,
SAG.
ain't it what they call it? And he was like, nah, Joker is SAG.
Exactly.
I was like, well, I don't know. Whatever it is, I need it. I was like, can I get a plug? And he was like, no, Joker, you can't get a. He's like, wait a minute, did you just say that you booked something? I was like, yeah, man, I snuck in an audition. And he was like, wow, all right, let me make some calls. So Jaleel White had a show at the time called Grown Ups.
Okay.
They didn't do nothing, but he had it. And they threw me on there, like, to do, like, a little, like, tiny singing part, because it was, like, an episode about boy bands.
Okay.
So I got a voucher immediately.
Yeah.
Boom, that was one. I needed two more.
And how long was that after the?
That was literally a day.
Okay.
Because they were already filming.
Okay.
So they were on their shoot day when I got called in.
Okay.
They was like, listen, we got something. All you got to do, there's no dialogue. You just sing something. Right? And I was like, will I get a voucher? They was like, yeah, bet. I go in, got that in a day.
Okay.
So now I need two more. So I'm like, they're calling everybody, like, extra work, whatever. It is nothing available, right? So another friend of mine was working on the Jamie Foxx show.
Okay.
He was like, yo, I got to go do this role. You want to come through? They always need extras.
Okay.
I said, bet, right? So I go down there. Now, mind you, I got the voucher for the grown-up show on a Wednesday. Jamie's show was filming on a Friday.
Damn.
2 days later.
So in 3 days, you basically got.
I got two vouchers, right? So I go in there. Now, mind you, it's in the hiatus week. So I got less than a week now.
Okay.
So I'm like, I go there, and just like he said, man, the second AD came up to me. Her name is Jennifer. She ended up working on Half and Half. That's so funny. She said, you want to do extra work? I was like, yes. Yes. What is that? And she was like, well, you're going to be atmosphere. I was like, what is that? She was like, you're going to kind of like, walk around, and I'm going to tell you what to do. And I was like, do I get a voucher? She was like, yeah, you get a voucher.
You didn't even care about getting paid.
I
You just
didn't
wanted a
care.
voucher.
I wanted the damn voucher because I knew that the Moesha job was paying really well. So I was like, can I get the voucher? And then she was like, yeah, you'll get the voucher. So I'm sitting up there, and it's crazy because, like, you see the cameras right here, right? Now, mine, this is my first time on a sitcom set.
Exactly.
So, they was like, the hotel,
Yeah.
the lobby and all that. So they're like, listen, you're going to walk through, grab a magazine, look at it, then go on the elevator.
Okay.
It's going to close, and then you're going to probably do it coming out,
Okay.
going back out the door, like just atmosphere.
Yeah.
So me, I'm like, oh, snap, I'm on the Jamie
So
Foxx
he had a
show.
real, like a big role.
So the camera's right there, right? And I walk in, I do go to the book, and I'm like this. Because I wanted my peoples to see me back home. I was like, so they're like, cut. They're like, cut. The director's like, who's the dude looking in the camera? And she's like, oh my God. She was like, you can't look in the camera. I was like, oh, my bad, my bad. I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, yo, I can still get the SAG, right? She was like, yeah, you good. Just don't look in the camera. You got to act like the camera.
Okay.
My bad. I got you. Go back and action. We back on the set. I go back to get the book.
That camera just kept luring you in, huh?
Cut. Yo, who is dude, yo? And I was like, yo, what? I didn't look. Yes, you did. We can see you.
Okay.
And I was like, yo, my bad. So she's like, listen, I got to put you in another scene. I was like, all right, cool, my bad. It's my first time. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. She's like, I get it, but don't look in the camera or they're going to get rid of you.
Okay.
I was like, oh, now I'm nervous.
Because you want to get that fag.
I needed to sag. So I was like, I ain't going to look in the camera. So it was an episode with Kevin Garnett, Gary Payton, and it was another ball player. I can't remember. But I know Kevin Garnett was promoting his, like, clothing line at the time.
I thought that episode.
It started with an O. I forgot the name of it. So they had a basketball court on the set, right? So, I was like sitting with the extras, and I just felt out of place. I'm like, yo, I know Will Smith, man. Why am I sitting over here with the extras, man? This is weird. Like, you know, it was weird.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was like, and I saw a baby grand piano on the set.
Okay.
Now, I played the piano since I was 5.
Okay.
Anybody that played the piano, you never gonna look at a baby grand and not touch it.
Yeah.
So I went over there, and it was lunchtime, so I started playing it. I started playing Ribbon in the Sky. All of a sudden, I hear, who the hell's on my piano? It was Jamie.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, shit. So I'm like, trying to run off the set. He was like, yo, come here. I was like, oh, I killed myself.
You
I
thought
was
you
like,
destroyed that voucher, huh?
I was like, yo, man, I'm sorry. He was like, you was playing that? I was like, yeah. I said, listen, man, I play the piano. I just can't walk by a baby grand, and it looks new. And he was like, play what you just played again. And I was like, Ribbon in the Sky? He was like, yeah. So I started playing it. He sat next to me, started riffing on the high keys. So I was like, and he was like, what you doing over here? He's like, how you get on set? I saw my extra. I said, I'm just trying to get the SAG, man. I'm trying to get the SAG. He was like, the what? I was like, the SAG, man. He said, why you calling it that? He was like, I was fresh from New York. He was like, why you calling it the SAG? I was like, because I booked Moesha and I can't get the job unless I get the SAG. He was like, well, first nigga, stop saying the.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm going to Taft-Hartley you.
Okay. Oh,
I said, what the hell is that? And he was like, well, that means like you advance.
Exactly.
You get the VIP voucher that covers all of that. You in. You just got to pay the dues. I was like, what? Then he had to go back to work. I was like, oh, snap. So Jennifer was like, wow, you got Taft-Hartley. You just literally made your goal.
Exactly.
In a day. I was like, oh, snap. So
I mean, with that Taft-Hartley, you technically didn't even need the first one.
Right.
Yeah.
So, of course, I ain't even use that crap.
Yeah.
So, I'm on cloud 11. So, now I'm hyped. I got like, what, $200, $270 in my pocket. And so, they were shooting on the basketball court. It was a portable basketball court on the set. So, they're shooting three-pointers and betting.
Okay.
Now, you know me. My shot is wet, you know, for those that don't know. So
we're going to get back to that one.
So my shot is wet, you know what I mean? So I felt, you know, fresh from New York. I was like, I'm going to go get in this bet.
Okay.
So I pulled out my money.
Your $270.
Yes, sir. So Johnny Mack, he was one of the writers on here, a real good friend of Jamie. He was like, yo, where you from, man? Where you talk? You know, I was like, New York. He said, New York. He said, you trying to bet? I was like, yeah. I was like, what y'all betting? He was like, $20 a shot.
Okay.
I was like, oh, I'm in that. Let's go. And then I was like, wait a minute, who am I? Because Kevin Garnett and Gary Payton was there. They was like, nah, we not playing. You know, it's y'all.
Exactly.
We not getting in that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, then let's go. And I'm looking at like the dudes I'm about to battle. I'm like, they don't even look like athletes. I'm like, might win some money today.
Okay.
So I was real confident because now I got my Taft-Hartley. My stress was gone.
I mean, honestly, it didn't even matter if you lost that money right now.
It didn't matter, but I felt like I needed to get in.
Yeah, okay.
You understand? Completely. So I needed to be in, create some relationships.
Exactly.
Right? So I started shooting. I won $700.
Nice.
My hands was hot. I was wet that day.
Okay.
So.
Now keep in mind, I've seen you play.
Now mind
go
you,
ahead.
listen. Call it what you want. I won that day. I even made Johnny money because he betted on me.
Okay.
So Jamie lost.
Oh, Jamie was playing?
Yeah.
Okay.
He lost money. So Jamie, I'll never forget, we was on set, and he's like looking at me, and he's like literally, you know how looking in the camera? He was looking at me like this on set. And I was like, I was doing my extra, and I was like, you know, this time I ain't looking at the camera. I'm like still working. And every time he did a scene, he would go, yo, all right. and Johnny Mack was like, yo, New York, man. He was like, yo, you made me some money, but Fox wants you to come to the crib and finish the bet. He said he wants you to come to Foxhole.
Oh, so he wanted to play you.
He said he wanted me to come to Foxhole. So I was like, what's Foxhole?
Yeah.
And it was like his house when he had in the valley. And I was like, bet. You know, I'm like, Jamie Foxx house. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's on. What's good? Let's
I
go.
mean, you back for like
and
a
my
week.
pockets is fat.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. You know, what I'm saying? I follow code. You know, I give people second chance. Talking, man. You know how I talk, man.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah. Come to the crib, man. Here go the address.
Okay.
I get there. It's a crowd of people there. Fox is like, basketball uniform on. He was like, yeah, it's a little different now. I'm comfortable.
Okay.
I didn't care, yo. I was like, I'm at Jamie Foxx house.
Yeah, exactly.
But I was like,
I mean, because keep in mind, you're a week back into LA.
yeah.
With your Taft Harley at
And
Jamie's
all
house.
it is, I'm like, yo, let's go. I lost the money.
Okay.
But I didn't care.
Exactly.
I was at his house. And he was like, yo, man, mi casa su casa type
Okay.
thing. He was like, you know, we do a lot of barbecues. You should come through, man. And I never told anybody I was affiliated with Will.
Okay.
Never.
Okay.
Because I wanted to get it on my own.
Exactly.
So I get the Taft Hartley, so I have to call Will. I'm like, Will, there's some dues got to be paid to be in this damn SAG thing. And he was like, hold up, what are you telling me? I said, yo, I got the SAG, but I got Taft Hartley. He was like, who the hell gave you Taft Hartley? I said, Jamie Foxx. He was like, how the hell you get on Jamie Foxx show? I did extra work. I gave him the whole story. He was like, wow. He said, yo, I said, listen, I'm making a lot of money, so I could pay you back.
Okay.
Just bless me to get in, because
exactly.
I work tomorrow.
We're on Moesha.
This is the time is going,
Okay.
days are going by.
Okay.
And the day before, I had no choice but to ask for help. So SAG was like, you know, I could pay and I could go do it, yada, yada, yada. So I went in, and he was like, wow, this dude came out here and
did
got
exactly
on
what he
a
said he was
hit
gonna do.
TV show. And he said, Joker, he said, you said it, right? But he still was laughing at me. He said, but everybody get lucky. I was like, well, I'm going to do this, right? So I did the show. The record label showed mad love. They came to the set. Brandy didn't even have a scene with me. My scenes were with Ray J.
Yeah.
So I was like punking Ray J in
Okay.
jail. So I never saw Brandy until the taping, because I think she was doing like a movie or something. I think
Okay.
she was filming Cinderfella or something.
Yeah.
It was something, she wasn't there.
Okay.
So when Will came to the Sunset Gours, everybody's like, Will Smith's here. Now, mind you, it was the episode Tyrese was on it.
Okay.
And I had this little dressing room, probably the size of this corner, right? It was like a closet. And I'm in there, my dresser, I'm like hyped. I didn't care. But I could see her dressing room across from the hall, all the way at the other end. And I could see like everybody congregating in the hall. Like I'm sucking it all up. Then all of a sudden I hear on the walkie, the day of the, because we shot in front of a live audience.
Okay.
So they was like, we got Will Smith at the gate. My dumbass naiveness, I'm going, oh shit, Will Smith's here. And not realizing
Exactly.
it has to do with me,
Yeah.
right? So I'm sitting there like, oh shit, Will Smith's here. That's dope. I hear him all over the walkies. So Brandy's like, oh my God, I didn't know he was coming. Oh my God, Will Smith coming to my show. Oh my God, it's gonna be nuts. Oh. Tyrese was all going, this is regular Tyrese at the time.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, Will Smith coming. So I remember seeing Charlie come in. Yo, what's up, baby? Yo, what's up? Because Charlie's like 7 feet tall. And then I see Will coming in. He's like, yo, Brandy's like, oh my God, I didn't know you was coming to see me. He was like, oh, I'm not here to see you. I'm here to see Chico. Everybody went, who? And I'm looking through the door, and I'm like, oh shit. And I closed the door. And I just saw Brandy's face like, Chico?
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, he's in the scenes with Ray J. She was like, I don't remember him. She wasn't at the table reading.
Yeah.
Right? So all of them are walking to, I'm looking through the little people. I see a crowd of people. And most of the other people coming to see who the hell is Chico.
Yeah.
That Will Smith is coming to see.
Okay.
So they knock on the door. Will got cake, balloons. Overbrook is proud of you. Like, a la carte, it was dope, right?
Because you still with Overbrook.
I was
as a
signed to
label.
them
Okay.
on a label. I was in a group
Yeah.
called Trey Knox. So I was like overwhelmed. I was like, yo, this is dope. Like, wow, man, you really support me. Like, da 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 da. And Brandy, the whole time, Brandy's like that. And she's like,
who is this cat?
she's like, why? I was like, yo, what's up? Like, I'm a fan, you know. That was my first time really talking to her. But me and Ray J had scenes together, so I saw Ray J already. So she was like, you brought Will Smith to my show. I was like, well, I ain't bring him, but, you know.
Yeah.
She was like, yeah. And I only had one episode.
Okay.
She was like, yeah, you coming back. I was like, word? Because my episode, I'm in jail.
Okay.
So, like, he sees me in jail. So they tagged the extra line in there where I basically say, when I save him in jail, I say, you owe me.
Okay.
So it led me
exactly.
coming back. Now I come back, Little Kim is my girl. I'm like, yo, like, this is dope. But then I really got to know them outside of the screen. So, like, you know, we became all cool. Like, Brandy's father, he was like a singer as well, and he played golf. I was playing golf at the time. I was just on learning.
Okay.
And then Brandy like would invite me to little functions at the house, just, you know, like really open arms to me. And all this was happening within a month.
Okay.
Right? So I go to this restaurant and I'm talking with like some of my friends I met, you know, in this time, and I'm at a table, and I was at Gaucho Grill on Fairfax in LA, like where Chocolate Sundays is over there. And I'm in there laughing and talking, and these two white ladies was at another table, and they kept watching me. And I seen them, you know, and I was just like, you want to come over here, right? I said, you know you won't get with us black people, man. I said, your name going to be Laquita, and you going to be Shauna.
This cat here.
And she was like laughing, and she was like, do you act? I was like, yeah. And she was like, you got a manager? I ain't no manager. I was like, yeah. I said, yeah, it's LA. You're supposed to have a manager. She was like, you have an agent? I was like, yeah. Ain't have none of that, right? So she said, take my card. She gave me a card that said CBS on it.
Oh, wow.
And it said producer, and I was like, oh, snap. I was like, what's this for? And she was just like, tell your peoples to call me. So I ain't had no peoples. Okay. Once again, yo, Will, some lady gave me a card. I need somebody to act like my manager or something just to kind of see what this meeting is. And he was like, what is it? Everybody got cards in LA. I said, it's a CBS card. These ladies look legit. And he was like, well, you should always take meetings. And I was like, yo, I want to go take this meeting. Okay. So he said, come to the label. I'm going to have somebody go with you. So I meet Stacey Matthews. And Stacey was like working in the television department at the time Overbrook had. Okay. And she was like, you know, I was like, how you doing? She was like, who are you? And I was like, oh, my name is Chico. I said, I think Will wants you to like go to a meeting with me and act like you're my manager. She was like, I don't babysit. I don't babysit. Okay. And I was like, well, I don't want you to babysit me. I just want you to front a little bit. She was like, who is this? And I was like, Chico. She was like, well, hold on. And she goes to Will, and she's like, you know, I have a job to do. And he's like, yo, you good. Just go with him. Because, you know, you got a good speaking tone. Yeah. You're not a threat. Okay. So she goes, and we get there, and the address is DreamWorks. Oh, wow. So I go, oh, shoot. I see the Amblin logo, and I'm like, wait a minute, we on the lot. Yeah. It was the lot where we were at, Universal. Okay. So I go in there, and literally the ladies come out, oh, my God, Chico, we're so happy to see you, da-da-da. Everybody wants to meet you. And I was like, who's everybody? They open this door. It was like a big room like this. It's like 30 people in there. I was like, oh, shoot. And then Stacey goes, what the hell is going on? And I said, I told you, I don't know, but act like, you know, we've done this before. And she was like, she just cut to the chase. So what do you want Chico for? They was like, oh, my God, we fell in love with him. He was at the restaurant. We just really want him to tell the story he told at the table, how I came to L.A. Okay. And I was animated, too. So, you know, I was telling the story, and everybody in there was laughing. I knew the punches to hit to make them laugh, and they was like, "Thank you. Wait outside. We'll talk to you in a few."
Okay.
So I go outside, and Stacy was like, that was the first time she seen me
Really?
in action.
Exactly.
Right, and she was just like, "Okay, now I understand why they wanted to meet you,
Okay.
but still, this makes no sense."
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, because if you think about it, all that you have said thus far, really doesn't make a lot of sense.
no,
You know?
I call it the Cinderfella story.
Okay.
So whenever I tell this story, I say I have a Cinderfella story.
But
so
I definitely want to preference this too by saying, because it's a lot of people that come to LA that try to make it, and I want to make sure people know that this
it
is
don't
not
happen
normal.
like this.
Yeah,
That's why I said
exactly.
it's a Cinderfella story.
Exactly.
So I go, they call Stacy in. They say, "Stacy, we talked to you." She goes in, and I'm like, "What's happening?" She's like, "I don't know." So she goes, I'm like thinking it's bad because they
Yeah.
didn't call me back in.
Okay.
She comes back out. She was like, "They just offered you a development deal." I was like, "What is that?" "They want to take you off the market and make you like the next Will." I was like, "What?"
And it's the CBS.
CBS. This is DreamWorks.
Yeah.
They want to give you 6 figures to stay in LA, get a place, and they want to sign you right now.
Wow.
I said, she was like, "I need to call Will. This is weird. I don't know what's going on." So I said, "I told you, Stacey. I told you." I said, "You got to listen to me." She's like, "No, this is weird. This doesn't happen."
Yeah.
So I called Will. I said, "Yo, I got a development deal on the table." He's like, "What the hell is going on?" He said, "Negro, I ain't never got a development deal. How the hell you get a development deal?"
Okay.
I said, "I told you Will I was going to be on TV in a year." So he's like, "Hold on. What did they say to you?" And I told him what they offered me.
Okay.
He said, "Hold on, bro. Let me get my lawyer on this."
Okay.
And, his
Yeah.
lawyer is
Exactly.
a real lawyer. So he was like, "Let me get my lawyer on this." He's like, this is weird. So he puts his lawyer on. His lawyer's like, "Yo, they really want this kid." Like,
And how old were you at the time when you first came
I was
back?
28.
Okay.
So I was like a late bloomer.
Yeah.
But I still look, I look
Yeah, of
young.
course.
So Will hits me back and says, "All right, so the offer they made you, we just doubled it." I was like, "Oh, snap." He was like, "Yo, man, God damn it, man. You said you was going to do this." And he was like, "Listen, you can't blow your money."
Okay.
He said, "I did it." He ran, basically what his book is out about
Yeah.
right now. He said, "I can't let you do that." He said, "So, me and Jada had a conversation. You can come move into the crib.
Okay.
We got extra space." I was like, "What?" "Get the fuck out of here."
Yeah.
He was like, "Ooh, excuse me." He was
all
like,
good.
he was like,
This is called A.L.N.S. Uncensored. You can
Okay,
say whatever
okay.
you want to say.
so I said, "You need to stop it." Oh, I said, "Yo, this is crazy." I was like, "This is weird. Like, you sure?" He was like, "Cheek, I can't let you blow your money." He said, "What's happening to you right now is unheard of. This don't
Definitely.
happen for
Definitely.
people that come out here and try to be actors. I have to, like, make sure you don't make the mistakes
Yeah,
I
got
did."
you down
So
the right
I was
path.
like, "Okay, bet." Of course, I blew the money anyway. But I rode that road for a little
Okay.
bit, not, listening and stuff. But it was like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air for real.
Exactly.
I'm in a mansion now, got maids ironing my drawers. I'm like, "Yo."
Will Smith.
the
Will
hell
Smith
is-
is your father.
I
You know
said,
what I'm saying?
"Yo," but he was more like a big brother. to
Yeah,
me.
exactly.
He just was like, "Yo, I refuse to let you blow your money, man." Like he did.
Yeah.
He pressed that, right? So he was just all about, "Yo, you gotta get your mind right. You gotta get prepared for the interviews and all this." So they took me off the market. I couldn't go to auditions. Nothing.
Because everything had to go through them. Okay.
No, everything. Well, they took you off the market because if they feel you're the next hot thing, they don't want nobody else to discover.
Okay.
So when they take you off the market, you can't go out and be seen nowhere. So they kept trying to come up with shows
Okay.
for me, like creating shows that just was weird. It
Yeah.
wasn't working. So when my contract ended, I was like, "Yo, man, I want to audition," because I was just sitting on money,
Exactly.
gaining weight,
Kind of like a artist sitting on the shelf.
sitting on the shelf.
Okay.
And Will was like, all right, we'll tell them we're gonna wait 3 months before we re-sign. Go hit the streets and try to audition. So now Stacy is my real manager.
Okay.
No, she's not my manager yet. So I said, I go to her and I said, Stacy, listen to me. I need a manager. I said, if you leave Overbrook and come work for me, I'm gonna make you rich. She looked at me like, boy, get out my face. You got lucky.
Yeah.
It is what I said. No, this feels right.
Okay.
This is supposed to happen. She was like, and I was very persistent. I kept going. I said, I want you to go because you was there in the beginning. You know what's going on. So she was like, I don't know. You know, I'm at Overbrook. Yada yada yada.
Yeah. Now let me ask: was that an issue for Will? You wanted her to leave Overbrook? Because I mean, I'm pretty sure she had a.
I knew that the label was downsizing.
Okay.
And I knew.
And she worked on the label side.
She worked on the television side.
Okay.
And I knew that department was about to be X'd.
Okay.
I just knew because I was at the house.
Yeah.
So I knew that, they were downsizing. So I said, yo, I can make you rich. And she was like, and I think when she got the note that they were about to downsize, she was like, we revisited it.
Okay.
And so she was like, I've never done this. This is new to me. But, I mean, you're throwing yourself out there like that, so why not?
Exactly.
You want me to do it? I'm a rock with you, right?
Okay.
So I got an agent. She said, you need to get an agent. So I went, started looking around. Nobody wanted me because I was nobody. So I was
when
like,
you
cool.
started looking around, was it more so based on, like, were you looking with the agency telling them what you had done previously, like the Moeshas and the CBSs and DreamWorks and all that stuff?
Nobody cared.
Okay.
There's like, you don't have a resume that's well enough for us to take you.
Investing, yeah.
So then I was like, well, then I don't need a man. I don't need an agent. It's cool.
Okay.
Whatever. I felt like I was getting stuff
Exactly, on your own.
on my own.
Yeah.
So I was like, and I was creating relationships in LA.
Exactly.
So, and then I had that mentality, which I never used, but I had the mentality like, I'm with Will Smith.
Yeah.
Like, this nigga gonna do movies forever. I'm gonna get a role.
Exactly.
Right? Worst come to worst. But I never used that. So, so what happened after that? So I did Moesha again. And then Tybo was popping at that time.
Okay.
Billy Blanks was popping. So I went to go work out because now I'm like, I'm on TV. I got to get in shape. And I was gaining weight. And then Will was like, listen, I'm doing Muhammad Ali's story. He was like, you want to be in a movie? I was like, hell yeah. I was like, who the hell I'm going to play? He was like, you got to be one of the boxers.
Okay.
But you're going to have to work out.
Yeah.
I was like, let's go. Like, let's go. So I went out for Jimmy Ellis.
Okay.
So I had the role of Jimmy Ellis. So I had to gain weight, get up to 245.
Okay.
I was in there training every day. Me and Will were battling. I'm getting knots upside my head. It was horrible, man. It was the most intense workout I've ever had in my life. Boxing in that goddamn ring.
Yeah.
So, long story short, the movie was too long. So they cut fights. But Will still kept me in the credits as something.
Okay.
So they have me in there as Hampton House announcer, which I didn't know what that was until the movie came out. But because I did all the work of training and the headaches and stuff, like he still looked up. So you go to my IMDb, it'll say Ali. People be like, nigga, I looked all over that movie for you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're not going to find me.
Okay.
The Hampton House announcer is a recording that Ali is listening to when he's talking about woodshedding. So when he gets suspended for not going to the war.
Yeah.
That wasn't me. That was like a real voice.
Okay.
The real Hampton announcer.
Yeah.
So I go to Tybo because now I'm worked out. I'm used to working out. So this is a big craze going on. So I get in. So I'm in there working out. And then I see this woman in a Benz coupe, 600. I was like, ooh. And I said to her, I said, yo, I ain't even going to play you and say, that's your man's car. You look like that's your whip.
Okay.
Like, that's your money. And she was like, I know you. And I was like, you know me? She was like, I know you. Your name's Chico. And I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, hi. I said, I don't, what's your name? And she was like, Yvette. She was like, I'm a producer.
Mm-hmm.
I produce TV shows. And I was like, oh, word, what's up? Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
She was like, I'm going to bring you in for this audition. I know Stacy. And I was like, oh, okay, bet. When is it?
Mm-hmm.
I said, what's the show? She said, it's called Half and Half.
Okay.
She says, I want you to come and read. I was like, bet. Mm-hmm. I go in for the audition. And it's one of them blonde moments again. I go, Les Moonves, head of CBS at the time, sitting in the front. I walk in, and Reuben Cannon was the casting director.
Okay.
And he's like looking at me, and he's like, you know, give him energy.
Okay.
But I didn't know who Les Moonves was. So I said, hey, man. I said, hey, nice to meet you. I said, hey, everybody, how you doing? I said, hey, man, you like Julio Iglesias? Everybody in there started dying laughing. And he just was like, proceed. Right? I didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
Yvette looked at me like, what the hell just happened? And I just started doing the lines. So they paired me up with Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny because when Rachel was so nervous, when she in the scene, she's supposed to like, you know, not grab me, but
Yeah.
she's supposed to like, Spencer, you know, the people upstairs died, and now I can get the attic.
Okay.
Right? And I'm like preparing for that scene. So she did it so aggressive. She scratched the shit out of my chest, right? So so we're getting ready to do the scene, and she was like, Spencer, I was like, oh, Mona. And then they was all laughing. It wasn't in the script. As it was burning the whole time, I was like, I said, yeah, he died. And she was like, you sure he's dead? I said, he was dead. And then everybody started laughing, and Les was like, stop. Thank you.
Okay.
So I walked out. So it was out of me. This the crazy shit. It was me, Cat Williams.
Really?
Cat Williams, man. Before he was Cat Williams. He had a ponytail. He had the high voice. And then it was this white boy from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Because they wanted Spencer to be white.
Okay.
Because the cast was going to be black.
Yeah.
And in San Francisco.
Okay.
So I remember sitting out there, and I remember seeing Essence. I remember seeing one of the Maori girls. And Rachel, and it was another girl. They all looked alike. Okay. Right? So they knew the image they wanted.
So one of the Maoris was going out for the show too?
One of the Maoris. Okay. And you know, her and Essence, they all looked similar. And they was like smart guy and all that. So, and they sister. So they was all like in the same Disney world. So then, but my character, nobody looked alike. Okay. It was like me, then Cat Williams, and then the white boy. So I came out, I'm waiting, and Reuben comes out, and he looks at me, he goes, go home. I was like, and I'm looking at the other two like, me? And they're like, yeah, just go home. I was like, damn, that was foul. Like, that's how they do it? I was like, damn. So now I'm like, the Cinderfella story's ended. Okay. Ain't nothing coming easy now. Yeah. So I'm like, damn, I got rejected. So now, mind you, I'm staying at Will and them crib at the time. So I had Jada's CLK at the time. It was brand new. I mean, I could smell the leather right now. It was perfect. So I get in the car, and I'm just like, it humbled me. Yeah. Because I was like, damn, I didn't get the role. Shit. I got to go back and tell everybody the Cinderfella story. The pumpkin is here, right? And then as I'm sitting in the car, like zoning, I see the Buffy vampire guy come out, the white guy. He walks out, and I'm like, damn, Cat must have got it, right? And then the producer came out with him. One of the producers, line producers, was talking to him.
The white boy.
The white boy. Okay. And she was like really talking to him. And he was just like smiling. He was like, I was like, oh shit, he got the role. Okay. I'm in the car watching.
Because you still sit in the car kind of going through your little, your little depression.
Right, and we're at CBS on Beverly Boulevard in LA, the big CBS. Yeah. So I'm sitting there watching like, lucky motherfucker. So now I'm like getting in the car, and then I was like, man, damn this. I saw the producer walking back to her car, and I was like, did I do that bad? She was like, what are you doing here? I was like, damn, did I do that bad? I was like, why everybody want to kick me out? She was like, she looked around, she did this. She was like, go home. I was like, I said, all right, my bad, no disrespect, I'm sorry. She said, go home. Check your answering service. And I went, answering service? What you mean? She was like, go home. And she gave me this look and she went, I said, let me tell you something. If that CLK ain't never experienced speed, rid of 101. I was I'm in to see a drop top. I'm like racing to Thousand Oaks.
Okay.
I get there and I had an answering service. Like I put one in the room I was in. And it was like, congratulations, you're Spencer for half and half. And I was like, oh. I said, well,
I mean, so
I
even
told you I was going to be on TV. And he said, yo, I will never doubt you again.
So even with doing like Moesha and all the stuff you did before that, this was your big break. Okay.
But the Moesha set me up for experience. The development deal set me up for dealing with contracts.
Okay.
And then the job, I was already ready. Even though I didn't do a lot, but it was like on a high scale. Like Moesha was a hit show at that time. And I was on that set. And then I got a contract with 180 grand for 6 months. I never had that kind of money.
Exactly.
You dig what I'm saying? Man, I went to the check cashing place with $20,000. Like, yo, man, hundreds.
Hold on, you went to a check cash?
Yo, man, I was fresh from New York. I was like, yo, man, let me get all hundreds. This dude looked at me, man, and said, yo, man, go open up a damn bank account. I was like, oh, yeah. My bad, yo. I went to the bank, opened a bank account, and my life, it changed drastically, but I was learning in a quick time.
Okay.
So when I got to half and half, I was the baby. Like, everybody on the show did something.
Yeah.
I was the only one that didn't.
So when you signed on to half and half, though, did they sign you on to like a full season or like an episode here and there?
I was one of the stars.
Okay.
It was 5 stars.
Okay.
Rachel was the lead. Essence was like the second lead.
Yeah.
Then the mothers.
Yeah.
Then me.
Okay.
I was on there every episode.
Okay.
All 96 of them.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I've seen half and half a few times, so I definitely know you was on there. You know, and definitely was on there. I saw you
on
cracking
Netflix
your jokes.
Right now. All 96.
All 96 episodes on Netflix?
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, when you did half and half and you got signed on, how many seasons did half and half run?
We did 4 seasons.
Okay, 4 seasons. So after half and half ended, where did you go then? I mean, what happened after that?
That was the reality check.
Okay.
That was the pumpkin. That was the official pumpkin. Because now I'm like, now I'm about to just walk in another audition, bag another job.
Yeah.
Nope. The bad thing about sitcoms is once America used to you being that character,
You get catchized.
they don't want to see you with nobody else.
Yeah.
They don't want to see you mean.
Okay.
I was going in auditions like, yo, all right, cool. I got to stab somebody in this movie and shoot him in the forehead. Bet. I walk in there like, yo, man, what you doing here, man?
Yeah.
I just watched you last night, man. You funny as hell, man. Oh, you trying to audition for this? Oh, shit, man. But go ahead, man. I got you.
Yeah.
No. I didn't get the role.
So what made you, I mean, because you've been in the game for a minute, you know, and there's a lot of people that's in Hollywood and they come here and they're in the game for a while and then they just fail, but you still stand on top of your game. What's making you still be able to be relevant in the industry after so long?
I just remember, I'm going to tell you like this. I remember being on a job, working, and always saying, I'm not supposed to be here.
Okay.
And I always would say that. I would get into a place and be like, something's wrong. Mm-hmm. I feel like an alien. Like, it was like, I did what I had to do because I had to survive. I got married at a young age. Okay. I had a son that was born. I had that responsibility on my brain. Mm-hmm. And it was like, but every job I had made no sense.
Okay.
I was a banker. I was working with pharmaceuticals, like legally,
Yeah.
you know, and it's all these jobs I kept getting. I'm working at psychiatric hospital, and I still going, no, man, this is wrong. I felt like I was in a movie, Lost in Translation. It was literally like that. And I remember telling my manager at the bank, I was sitting at my desk, and I said, every time I come here, I hate this place. But I make good money, I got benefits, but I hate it.
Exactly.
And she was like, why do you hate it so much? Everybody loves you here.
Because you knew you were
I
supposed to be
said, I
somewhere
don't
else.
belong here.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in a dream. Y'all won't wake me up.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm singing in a group and we're doing nothing. We're signed to Will Smith.
Yeah.
We're not doing nothing. And then my manager said, then leave.
The manager of the bank. Okay.
She said, why don't you just leave? So you don't have to keep saying this.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't. I got a responsibility.
Exactly.
I feel like I'm doing a bid. You know what I mean? She was like, well, you got to make a decision. You either got to make the best out of this or you're going to be miserable here. And I was like, I don't want to make the best out of it. I don't want to be the manager. I don't want to be employee of the week.
Yeah.
I hate it here. But I'm going to come to work
Okay.
and do my job because I get a check at the end of the week.
Okay.
So then one day, man, I get the call.
From?
Will's manager at the time, James Lassie.
Okay.
He called me. He said, Will's going on overseas on tour. And he wants to bring the group. I know you got a job. I'm out. Nothing to talk about.
No second guessing.
Nothing to talk about. He was like, wait a minute, but the baby. I was like, we good.
Okay.
I'm out. Where we going? He said, all over the world. I'm out.
Okay.
I had a free ride around the world.
Yeah.
I'm out.
So how long was that tour for?
So I'm gonna tell you. So,
Okay.
So I tell my manager, it's over. She was like, for real? I was like, I'm out. The call came. She was like, you serious? I was like, the dream is over. I'm waking up. I may
The
not
nightmare
see
is
you
over.
again, right? And she goes, you just gonna quit? I was like, yes. And she was like, don't do that. She said, take a leave of absence. God forbid this don't work. You'll have a job waiting for
Exactly.
you. I was like, I don't want to come back here. I said, this is plan B, which distracts plan A.
Exactly.
I'm not coming back here.
Okay.
But I'll leave on a good note and put a leave of absence. But this ain't to ensure a job for me.
Yeah.
Once I go out there, I ain't coming back. I'm going to get something out there. You know what I mean? So we go on tour, and we go to Germany, we go to London, we go to Paris. I'm like, this is
Living the
bananas,
life.
man. I'm never in a million
Yeah.
years would have thought I'd been in this situation. And then one of the dancers is rehearsing, and literally, Mandel, I have, at this time I bought the little, remember the mini DVDs?
Yeah.
It just came out, and I'm like watching the rehearsals, and literally I'm filming one of the dancers fall backwards off one of the risers.
Okay.
And there wasn't a guardrail for him. Tour was over.
Wow.
Lawsuit, worried, all of that, and I was like, ooh. And I had it on tape. I seen him. All you see is literally Will go, somebody get a medic! I was like in shock, just holding the camera,
Yeah.
like, what just happened? Kid was, thank God he was okay.
Okay.
And because we all knew him, we all
Yeah,
became
like-
like close on the tour. But it ended
Okay.
after that. So now my
So now
flight's
you're back to
going to
square
New
one.
York. I'm like, oh my God, I can't go to this bank. Like, no. And I got home and I called the guys in the group. I was like, yo, man, we need to do something.
Okay.
I'm not trying to work
Yeah.
at no damn jobs no more. So we just kept rehearsing just to keep the
Yeah. Keep it fresh.
momentum and fresh, you know what I'm saying? Then that got old. Then it was like, damn, I'm running out of money.
Exactly.
So I'm like, damn, what is going on, man? I'm back to sleep, right? And then Will brings us out to sing. We were supposed to be the voices on We're Going Straight to the Wild Wild West.
Okay.
Me and my group sang the original.
Okay.
And then they was like, we need a big name. And they got Drew Hill. But we're back in LA.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's summertime. I'm on my
Yeah.
right. So that's when I just started like really starting to meet people, taking advantage of the time I had out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when we was about to shoot our music video. It was the greatest and the most horrible feeling in the world.
Why?
So we were on Interscope, right? So we literally rehearsed, got ready to go shoot this video at Atlantis in Bahamas.
Okay.
My first music video is about to be in Atlantis. You ever seen Atlantis? It's like a resort that's underwater. You ever heard of Atlantis, right? It's in the Bahamas. It's like, at that time it was like brand new.
Okay.
So like you're walking underwater, like seeing fish swimming around you in tunnels. It was beautiful.
And this is gonna be your first
and we
video.
were doing our first video there.
Okay.
Our flights were leaving at 6 a.m. We're at Rocket Studios in New York.
Mm-hmm.
We flew back to New York. Now I'm happy I'm in New York because we got to go to
Exactly.
Bahamas. It was 12. I got the video on VHS, bro. We're rehearsing, getting ready. We had our single. Our flight left at 6. So my phone rang at 2 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
There's no video. I was like, what? Apparently some beef with Overbrook and Interscope. It's a wrap.
Wow.
Y'all video is definitely not happening.
So this is two times in a row.
Bruh, I was like, what am I cursed? What the hell is going on?
So you went from Cinderfella to just the frog.
Mm-hmm. But no, this is before half and half.
This all before half.
Oh, this is before
Okay.
half and half. So when I'm up speeding you after half and half.
Okay.
So after half and half, when I said the pumpkin hit, I went on auditions for other stuff.
Yeah. No one's feeling.
Nobody wanted me out of the Spencer role.
Okay.
They was just like, yo, man, it's hard to see you as another role. So I went out for Good Girls.
Okay.
Not Good Girls.
Girlfriends?
2 girls. It was two white girls on CBS. And the brother that was on the show.
Oh, that's the role you went out
The
for.
token.
Yeah.
It was out of me and him.
Okay.
I was like, oh my God, I got another network show.
Yeah, because that's
And
the
he
same
was
type
out-
of role.
And he was on BET doing like music shows.
Yeah.
Like he was fresh. And I saw the brother in the audition, and I was like, the head, I'm like, Cinderfella's back.
Yeah.
Sorry, bro, you ain't getting it. And he even looked at me and was like, yo, I'm a fan.
Okay.
I was like, thank you. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Meant nothing. He got that goddamn role.
Okay.
And I was like, again, it humbled me.
Exactly.
Slapped me back down like, yo, this doesn't happen for everybody, including yourself.
Exactly. So,
Right.
I mean, I have to ask that. So from going on, being on top, because I mean, basically within the first month that you were back here, you were on top of the world, and then you just kind of failed. How did you get that motivation back to stay with it? I mean, because a lot of people, you know, they would be on top like that and then fall, and they just kind of give up. But you didn't. I mean, we're going to talk about this a little later, but you got your own production company. You know, you've done a plethora of films since then. You know, what made you decide, I'm just going to stick with this?
I had kids.
Okay. Okay.
And it wasn't the economic part of it.
Okay.
It was, they really were my fans. They really was like, my dad is awesome.
Okay.
And when I saw that, and it was organic, and I believed them, I said, I can't fail for them. So my second win came.
Okay.
My second win came. I got in shape. I started hitting gyms. I was like, I'm going to be the greatest entertainer ever because of them.
And I completely understand that, man, because I mean, my kids is a lot of my motivation as well, and I want to applaud that because using your kids as that inspirational tool, is what kept you solid.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't understand how kids can be that inspiration if they just give their kids the right attention that they need.
Right.
But with your success, with your downfalls, with your pitfalls, plus your success today, right now, what makes you? Because your kids are older, I'm assuming. Are they in the industry as well? Okay. So with your kids being a little older, what keeps you focused now?
The Kobe Bryant death
Okay.
kind of was a wake up to me.
Okay.
Because I said, damn, even the good ones are taken.
Yep.
Then his daughter was with him. I was like, death has no remorse.
Exactly.
You dig what I'm saying?
Completely.
It was like, do you get mad at God? Who you get mad at? It's at the end of the day, anyone can go.
Exactly.
But then it hit me. His kids are gonna all be fine. His wife is gonna be fine. Can I say that?
Exactly. Okay.
God forbid something happened to me. Out of the blue, all my kids gonna be good.
Okay.
That was it. I was like, oh snap.
So I will say this. So for all the people that's out here and then looking for that inspiration, this is a good example of where you can find inspiration that's going to keep you going no matter what. Because even with your kids getting older and stuff, your kids are still your inspiration.
You're my best friends.
Yeah, exactly. And you want them to make sure. And this is a lot of things I've talked about on previous podcasts of mine. How as a culture we don't focus on generational wealth. And that they kind of transitions into what you're saying now to why you're still focused. You want that generational wealth. Not to make your kids spoiled, not to make your kids entitled, but to give them a backbone so they don't have to struggle as hard as you may have had to struggle.
Right.
And I applaud that.
Thank you. And I had a very rough childhood, and my kids will never go through what I went through.
Feel exactly the same way.
Physical. It was abusive, and they don't know what beatings are.
Yeah, exactly.
My kids are really good kids.
Okay.
I was a good kid where I felt like, did I really need to get a beating? Like, was I that bad?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I completely understand.
So when I look at my kids now and they get me upset, I'm like, is it really? Has they pushed me to the level that I gotta really take my adult hands and put it on them? No. I'm like, they're kids.
Yeah.
They're going through a process that I went through.
Okay.
So when I see them, I see me, but I see parts of me that aren't dealing with abuse.
Yeah.
So that's what makes me work hard, because I'm like, as long as they can say, I love my dad.
Yeah.
My dad was the bomb.
Exactly.
I don't care about nothing else.
Exactly.
Nothing else in this world
Totally
matters
agree.
to me except how they feel about
Totally
me.
agree.
And I tell them all the time, like, money is the root of all evil. I said, but I'm going to teach y'all to learn how to survive.
Exactly.
I don't want y'all to get out here and God forbid something happened to me and y'all like, I don't know what to do. And then y'all go lay up with some dude or you lay up with a chick and they run you because you don't know how to take care of yourself. So I push that on my kids, and how I do that, I let them see me grind.
Exactly.
And I let them see I ain't playing. And then I let them see when I put my mind to something and I do it, they can do it too.
Exactly. And I totally agree with that too. And we kind of on the same level there, because even with my moms, my work ethic comes from seeing my mom grinding so hard. I've been working since I was 13 years old. I started working in a car wash, and I've been working since I was 13 years old, but that came from my mom's. But like I always tell my kids, there's only one thing in this world I'm scared of, and that is losing the love of my kids. you know, so I can completely understand where you're coming from and why your inspiration is so strong through your kids. But let's jump forward a little bit because we,
Yep.
you know, I can't stay on here too long. You know,
know.
my producer gonna
rabbit
kick me
hole.
off. But let's jump forward a little bit. Let's talk about your new show that you have coming up, the TV show that you have coming up.
Well, yeah. So I created a show loosely based on my life.
Okay.
You know, I think we all like have a part of our families where we like, man, I gotta write this.
Yeah.
People gonna love to see my
Exactly.
family. But mine, I was more intrigued because I never was raised by my real mother and father.
Okay.
So when I met my real dad, I've always wanted to know like why I love music so much.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I like want to be like on stage so much?
Okay.
Because my father that raised me wasn't like that.
Okay.
My mother that raised me wasn't like that. I lived in a house full of engineers.
Okay.
I hate that shit.
Exactly.
And I'm like, why do y'all like this? This is boring. But it's because I wasn't from that bloodline.
Yeah, one from that cloth.
You know what I'm saying? But my father that raised me was my grandfather.
Okay.
It was my mother's father,
Okay.
right? But it was still a disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
So when I met my dad 4 years ago, well, it's going on 5 now, and I found out he was a singer. He was the lead singer of the Coasters. Yakety yak. Don't talk back. They got the paper. So he was singing in that. He's like the second generation.
Yeah.
And, you know, I had closure because I met my mother, my real mother, when I was like 13. And then she was kind of in and out because she still was affiliated with my aunts.
Yeah.
But my father was completely disconnected.
Okay.
So like I was like, who is this dude? I saw pictures of him and stuff, but I never met him, and I knew he was alive. Everybody was like, he's alive.
So you said this was 4 or 5 years ago. Okay.
Well, longer than that. I knew about him when I was a teenager.
Okay.
But I only saw pictures from like looking for him. Me and my brother just literally went to his neighborhood, knocked on doors.
Okay.
Do you know? But every time they saw my brother, they was like, who's your father? We knew he was in the right place
Okay.
because he looks identical to my father. So then, long story short, just the journey I went through trying to get closure, I felt like there's a lot of people out there that's probably dealing with
Exactly.
fatherless homes and wanting closure. And then when I found him and got his side of the story, he was actually a cool person.
Okay.
He didn't want nothing from me. He just wanted a relationship.
So if you don't mind me asking, what was his reasoning?
My mother lied.
Okay.
My mother told me that, and I mean, I didn't put this darkness in it. My mother told me that I was born from rape
Oh wow. Okay.
because she thought I would never meet him.
Okay.
So to keep me separated from him, this is my birth mother that told me this. To keep me separated from him, she told me that.
So
When
that
I
you would
met
never
him-
want to meet him, basically.
Right.
Okay.
But I still wanted to meet him.
Okay.
But when I met him,
He
the
told
first
you.
thing in my mouth was, why rape?
Yeah.
Whoa, what was the point?
Okay.
He was like, what are you talking about? I was like, this is what she told me. He said, what the hell? He went off.
Yeah.
And I could tell the way he was so angry.
That it was genuine.
It was genuine. And then when I asked her, I said, matter of fact, I need to call her right now. I called her. And she answered the phone and was excited. Like, oh my God, what does he look like? And I was like, it's odd.
Exactly. If a guy raped you, why would you care how he
Right.
look and all that?
And
Yeah.
then he said one thing, I ain't never had to force your mother, was intimacy. She loved intimacy.
Yeah.
And I said it to her and she said, yeah.
Oh wow. Just that easy.
I was 13,
Wow.
47. 5 years ago ain't that long.
Yeah.
I carried that long.
Wow. So how did you find that closure with carrying that long?
I met him.
Uh-huh.
He shut it down.
Okay.
I was like, oh shit, I'm not that bad then. I'm not who I thought I was. I'm not this.
The product of rape.
Right. I'm not this monster that
Yeah.
could come later.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, I was always like fighting those demons, like,
Yeah.
no, I'm never going to be that. No, just because he was that, I ain't no
Exactly.
generational curse. But it was a lie.
Exactly.
So I was fighting something that didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to deal with that.
Okay.
And I was just like, when I had my kids, I was like, y'all will never go through that. I don't lie to my children.
Exactly.
I tell them everything.
Exactly. Totally agree.
And I tell people, you know, some people look at me and go, man, your kids be listening to that. They be da-da-da. I said, one thing about my kids, they respect people. They respect elders. But when they're with me, as long as they do it with me, I don't care.
Yeah.
Because when they leave me, I don't want them to turn into another alter
Exactly.
ego.
And I will say this: I've met your kids a few times, you know, and of course, you know, with their dad being Chico Benymon, that can give them the big head. But your kids are pretty well grounded.
They're grounded.
Exactly.
Because I don't teach them bougie ego tripping. I teach them, don't ever diss nobody.
Yeah.
Don't ever, somebody want an autograph, don't suck your teeth.
Exactly.
They're the reason we can pay the bills.
Exactly.
And I teach that and I instill that. And my kids, man, they so like me. They're free-hearted.
Yeah.
They will give you their last.
So what made you decide to for your kids not to get into the industry with you, you know, getting into it so heavy?
Because I was forced. Even though I probably would have led to it, I was forced to be put on the piano.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I was growing up going, I hate the piano. I wasn't, it didn't naturally come.
That's funny. My daughter played the piano.
But this is what I'm saying. But it was destined.
Yeah, exactly.
I was placed.
Okay.
That was my assignment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just don't want to do that to them. I don't want to be that father that's drilling them.
Yeah.
Because I'm so afraid of what I went
Okay.
through may come out.
Exactly. So you would rather allow them to venture into that if they chose to on their own.
Right. I ask my kids every time, what y'all want to do?
Yeah.
Whatever y'all do, I'm going to support. I'm going to push you. But if you pick it, you're not going to half-ass it.
Exactly.
At least give it 100%. If you give it 100% and it fails, then we do something else.
Okay.
But you got to give me 100% because I'm going to go all out for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want them to ever start something and never finish.
Okay. Understandable. Understandable. So we have gotten a lot of insight from you about, you know, stuff that you have done, stuff that you know, how you got your start and all of that. What do we have or what do we see for the future for Chico Benymon?
Woo, man, y'all about to jump into this brain of all my experiences. I'm like Forrest Gump for real.
Okay.
I've been places, met people, been through a lot of hell. And there's one thing I'll tell you Will told me. He said, because I used to always like tell him my black hole,
Okay.
right? I would tell him everything. And he said to me, he said, man, you're a great storyteller. He said, I can never predict your endings.
Okay.
That's how I know you're telling the truth. It's not predictable.
Exactly.
It's not cliche. You were put in those situations to make yourself a billionaire.
Okay.
And he looked at me in my face, Mandel. He said, if you don't tell the story, I will.
Okay.
So he let me know, I will get rich off your ass in a minute.
Okay.
Tell your story. And it took me a while to really let that register. Like I said, the Kobe death
Exactly.
made me do the rewind button.
Okay.
Like, okay, where in my timeline did I skip something? That acting became a necessity. When I got into acting, remember, everything was falling.
Yeah, it was just falling in your lap. Yeah.
It was like fun. And then it turned into, I gotta get this job.
Yeah.
Because I gotta pay bills.
Exactly.
Now it's not fun no more. You know what I'm saying? Now they're not hiring. And I'm going, everything I've done has never failed.
Yeah.
Why won't you hire me? Why y'all making me audition for the same roles? You know I can do this role.
Exactly.
Father, funny. We want to see is real. Are you kidding me? I have tons of episodes of that.
Exactly.
Best friend of the lead. I have tons of episodes of that. Y'all still making me audition, huh? Cool, I get it. I stay humble. I still go to auditions. But then I just started realizing that just like we all grow, Hollywood changes.
Exactly.
So we can't expect to be accepted or hired all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So then I just said, I met Ice Cube, and I never forget. He said something that like changed my life. He said, I said, man, nobody, I'm just tired of going these roles. I said, hopefully I'll work with you one day. He said, let me tell you something. The greatest role you're ever going to play is the one you create.
That's
Every
actually very
role,
wild.
think about Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Every hit movie he has, he created.
Yep.
That Triple X shit
Yeah.
did nothing.
Exactly.
They went back to Vin Diesel,
Exactly.
right?
But
But
all
when
the
he
Are You
went-
There Yet and all that stuff he created, yeah.
Ice Cube,
Yeah.
Cube Vision. He
Yeah.
said the greatest role you ever going to play is the one you create.
Okay.
Marlon Wayans said the same thing. I said, damn, Marlon, I don't know how to write a script. He said, yes, you do.
So this new project that you have, when are we looking to?
Top of the year.
Okay.
Top of the year. I'm a perfectionist, man. So
Okay.
I gotta, because it's loosely based on my life.
Yeah.
It's not my life.
It's not exact.
But it's loosely based.
Okay.
So I gotta be careful,
Yeah, you don't want to embellish too much.
right? And then I don't want to, the word I want to use, I don't want to piss nobody off.
Yeah.
Not my family wise.
Yeah.
I do me. But I'm talking about people that are going through what I'm going through. I don't want them to see like the truth and then all of a sudden like, nah, that ain't right. That wouldn't have happened
Okay.
like that. Yeah,
Okay.
I was with you,
Understandable.
Chico. We was vibing.
Yeah.
I was going through that same shit, and then you went left. You went to cater to the masses. You went to entertain people when your truth was the reason why I was watching your show.
Okay.
So it's like I gotta stay there. So I gotta make sure like it ain't no like buffoonery.
Okay.
I gotta stay within my real. But I think everybody's gonna love it, man.
Well, man, I'm gonna have to tell you. Once this comes out, we definitely gonna have to bring you back on the show to talk about it again. So we can get all of the hype behind it and everything out the way. I know
Yeah,
there's
man.
not a lot you can say right now.
No, I can.
You know.
It's called the Rolling Stones.
Okay.
My character name is Nate Stone. My father name is Nate Stone Sr.
Okay.
And then I have this kid out of a one night stand groupie. His
Okay.
name is Nate Stone III. So because our
nice,
last name is Stone, it's called the Rolling
Yeah.
Stones. And it's 3 generations. They move into my house because this kid, needs a father. And I'm like, I'm going to take care of this kid when I never had a father in my life.
Exactly.
Then the father pops up in my life.
Okay.
So we all come together to try to teach one another.
Well, I have to say, man, I'm looking forward to watching. I mean, I've watched a bunch of your stuff. It's funny. You, like I said, you do music and all that stuff, and I'm rolling in the, because the way I met you is through the EFFL.
Right.
So you started the
Entertainment Flag Football League.
So you started the EFFL. You had
10 years.
Exactly. You had Columbus out there, Tank out there, Brian McKnight out there. So you had a bunch of names out there.
Right.
And I came in, and you always showed me love when I came in. You know what I'm saying? But I be riding down the street with some of the cats from the EFFL, like Samuel, whatever, and I got one of your songs on my playlist. You know what I'm saying? And every time he come on, he like, man, are you really bumping Chico right now?
That's right.
You know?
God
But
dang
that's
right.
a nice, and I say that, I brought that up to say that, even though you my boy and everything, I'm not supporting your music necessarily because you're my boy. I'm supporting your music because your shit is real.
Thank you.
And that's really what I feel about. That's why that song is on my track. Well, I got 2 of them, but that's why those songs are on my playlist because
Right.
they songs that I can vibe with.
Right.
It ain't just like, oh, that's my boy. I'm just gonna play it. Shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Wait till you hear the new stuff on so my show is, because it's Lucy Been all the music on it is original.
Okay.
Bangers.
So the soundtrack is gonna be a lot of your new
it's
music.
like Empire meets Blackish.
Oh, nice.
So
I
it's
look
like
forward
that.
to it.
Instead of it's going dark like Empire went,
Okay.
it's light.
Okay.
There's light.
Well, we're gonna definitely have to bring you back on here, man.
Yeah,
I
man.
don't want to keep you too long. I know you got things to do.
Oh man, it's
You
all
know
good.
what I'm saying?
Listen, I tell all y'all other entertainers out there, man, we have to support each other.
We definitely, I
You know,
totally agree. I can't agree that more.
One of my good friends, Brooklyn McGuinn, told me he posted something. He said, "You have friends, and then you have people you know." And if I say that I'm friends with someone, I have to go support them.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care who I am, what level I'm on. We all started from the bottom.
Exactly.
And I'm like, he's starting a podcast. I got to support this boy. I said,
I appreciate you.
I see his wife, I see his kids. How do I do that and not go
Exactly.
down there and just give him this time that could probably spark others? You know
And
what
I ain't gonna lie, man. I truly appreciate it. You know, I've had some guests, but by far, you're the most established guest that I have on so far. You know,
Thank
Nessie.
you.
I had Nessie Blaze
Thank you.
on from Black Ink Compton.
Okay.
But you're by far the most established. So I'm humbled for you to be here.
Well,
You know what I'm
listen,
saying?
Mandel, you've supported my football league.
Yeah.
You're one of the reasons that made EFFL exist. You bought a team.
Yeah.
That's not easy, guys.
Not at all.
To bring a team every Sunday
Yeah.
and really be passionate about it.
Sometimes
And
too passionate.
Too
for me.
passionate. But I knew his passion. He was bringing another team.
Yeah.
So like, thank you. Like, cause that's from the bottom of my heart.
Well, yeah, I
like,
appreciate that.
because it
Thank
wouldn't
you.
have been a success with you being one of the pieces.
And thank you for being who you are. I mean, because you could have very easily, you know, had that chip on your shoulder because of all that you've accomplished, you know, and I've never seen that from you. So I appreciate that as well.
Me and Mandel go at it, basketball, football,
everything. It don't even matter.
He's yelling. Yeah, listen, we go at it, man. But that's just two people competitive,
Exactly.
and we passionate about what we invest our time in.
Exactly.
Well, I don't care if we in here knitting. I'm like, nigga,
Exactly.
my shit
We
is
gonna be
gonna
going
go
at each other. Exactly.
way better than you. You don't even know. But that's how, I promise you, like, we would go at it, and then he got a barbecue.
Yeah.
Oh, man. This dude throw barbecues all the damn time.
Yeah, we used to be the party house. Now that we got the pool back there too, yeah, it's gonna be nice. But y'all make sure y'all check out Rolling Stone when it comes out.
And for those watch Netflix, Half and Half is on Netflix, and my kids show on Nickelodeon called The Haunted Hathaways, where I play a ghost dad. Real quick about that show, I did that show because my kids were like, Dad, none of my friends know you.
Okay.
We don't feel super dad no more. I was like, so I got to do a kid show? They was like, pretty much.
Surprisingly, my son, he's 15 years old now, but Mandel used to love that show.
That's what I'm
He
saying.
used to love that show.
I got on that show for my kids, man,
Okay.
so they could be popular. And when I got the show, they were popular.
Well, we definitely gonna bring you back on here, man. So,
Yes, sir.
Again, I appreciate you coming out, and as always,
God.
it's definitely a pleasure.
Come on, man.
All right,
Always.
This is Mandel Anthony with A.L.N.S. And as always, stay safe. And if you ain't living to the fullest, you really ain't living. Peace. Till next time.